It's probably not going to affect the outcome of this war to any great extent, but in terms of the effect it will have on the morale of both the Ukrainians and the Russians, I think it's very significant. For the Ukrainians, to sink the flagship of the Russian fleet, it's a real shot in the arm. They'd already sunk 4 Russian ships, but nothing quite as significant as the Moskva. And for the Russians to lose such an important ship, the pride of their fleet in the Black Sea, is humiliating. But it's not just that either. For the commanders of the Russian ships in the Black Sea, it's worrying because it says that the Ukrainians are able to strike them wherever they are, as long as they're within range. And those Neptunes that the Ukrainians use have a range of about 280 kilometers. And the Ukrainians are just taking hold of a consignment of missiles from the United Kingdom, anti-ship missiles, even more effective than the Neptunes. So for the Russians, it's very worrying indeed about how they conduct their military operations in the Black Sea. But as I said, in the wider scheme of things, the Russians can. The first thing to be said is that the Moskva was able to fire cruise missiles at Ukrainian positions fairly deep inside, back from the coast. It's losing that, but it has lots of other ways of striking at the Ukrainians from land bases inside Russia. So no great blow, I think, to Russia's capability to strike. But in terms of morale, it's a blow to Russian morale, no question about it. Not just among the soldiers, but amongst ordinary Russians as well. People who inevitably are going to find out about this, and they all put 2 and 2 together and reason that things aren't going quite as well as we're being told by the Kremlin. But to address the question of the wider picture, morale among Russian soldiers appears to be very low. If you talk to people who have been fighting on the Ukrainian side, foreigners and Ukrainians, what they're saying is that the Russian troops, in large part conscripts, often drawn from ethnic minorities, have no great commitment to the fight, often don't understand why they're fighting in Ukraine at all, and their training appears not to be very good as well. The military fighting here often praise the effectiveness of Russian artillery and the multiple rocket launchers, but when it comes to coordination between the troops and the artillery, it says it's just missing. And that's why the Russians took such a terrible beating in the area north of Kyiv. And these same troops now have left and gone to the Donbass. They will be telling the stories of what they suffered when they were fighting in the north of Kyiv. And that will filter through the other troops who are fighting in Donbass as well. It won't help morale.